But is there a disconnect when you see, certain games like a Halo 3 coming out with so much content for $60, and these other games which come out which are, 7-hour experiences for $60?
If somebody sets the bar that high, then it's everybody else's job to step up and match that.
I disagree. I think that if somebody sets the bar that high, that's great, and that hopefully will do really well for them, but everybody else doesn't necessarily have to do it. It's about how good the game is. Right? I don't think Call of Duty 4 has as much stuff packed into it as Halo 3. I loved Halo 3, but I love Call of Duty even more, right?
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think we are, having been a former journalist, I have to say, I think that the journalist folks have gotten into a trap of having these checklists of essentially.
They just look at the bullet points.
Yeah, it's a way to subtract some points.
But I mean, Call of Duty had that whole leveling system and everything. Well, Halo had something like that, but as far as the perks and everything like that, I mean, it was kind of a different set of things, right?
So, but like journalists, you're right. I mean, like when Rock Band, we couldn't do World Tour online, so of course that's what everyone just, it wasn't about all the great things that were in the game. It was like, what's the one thing that's not there? And you focused on that, right?
But it didn't have Forge. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think actually people like the press and the audiences are getting smarter in the sense that I don't think there's that same obsessive focus about is there 40 hours of gameplay that 5 years ago. Now it's like, people like Portal. Portal's a short game.
Yeah.
People are willing to pay money for Portal because it's awesome.
I'm just hoping that Portal kind of cracked open the market for these great little 3-hour $20 experiences. I just hope more. A lot of publishers are like, wait, we could probably do something like that, make a little bit of money.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Or the idea,
less risk too, right?
These episodic games, you're downloading these.
As a download.
Absolutely.
Because do you see in the future, of games we're going to have games come out and have more and more episodic content? You sort of hinted at it, but I mean, no one, there was rumors that Halo 3 would come out and there'd be episodic single-player adventures that would come out, and we still yet to see, you've seen multiplayer content come out on Xbox Live Marketplace, and certainly songs for Rock Band, which are really successful. But we've yet to see, new stories and new narrative that's coming out for these games. Why not?
I think it has a lot to. I don't think you can force it, right? It's like for us, of course we're selling more songs. It makes perfect sense.
But would you bring out new features? I mean, would you have someone pay 300 Microsoft points for online World Tour mode patch or something?
It to some degree depends on maybe it just makes sense to put out a sequel. You bundle those together and you stick it on a disc, and that's easier for people to deal with.
Right.
There is Sam and Max. They've had episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
Valve has come out with episodes of Half-Life. Right. Half-Life 2. So people are starting to make inroads. Right, and it always comes down to the economic sense of it, right? Because the truth is, our industry is still very brick and mortar and retail, selling packaged goods space, right? And as we start seeing a shift, you asked about 2015, right? I think by then you're going to see a pretty strong shift towards a lot of content you're getting that you're downloading it, right? And that's the shift that has to happen when you're no longer
smaller game you just want to play for the weekend.
It absolutely breaks the model for a lot of the business to not ever put something in a box and go try to sell it. Right?
Well, I'm sure, you look at something like Rock Band. I'm sure one model. Some people would say, "Well, Rock Band's so expensive. What if you just you get the game for free, but then you had to buy each song or something like that on top of it, right? I mean, it's there are different ways to.
I'm sure those will bubble up, but one of the things that like Aaron said, it's right now, 2015, it'll be different. But right now, most people go to the store and they buy, they pay money for a disc. That's where most of the money.
Or pay $180 for all their instruments.
For a giant box full of plastic instruments.
But I guarantee with a title like that, and with most video games in general, you look at the sheer amount of hours you get out of it, considering the dollar to hour ratio, and it is still the best entertainment value in entertainment.
But you were attacked for Gears of War. A lot of people said it was too short, right?
Well, Gears, the single-player campaign generally clocked in between 8 and 10 hours for a lot of people.
Right.
And I've played a lot of shooters recently that are 6 hours and whatnot.
Right.
And when you add in the co-op experience...
Because it's so good, though. I think that's part of the thing. Is a good, time. People wanted it to continue because it was so good.
10 good hours,
The same thing with, a Rock Band. People want, they want more songs because they keep playing through
it. One thing I learned from a friend of mine who taught kids at the YMCA was that she said always stop the dodgeball or whatever they're playing when they're having the most fun.
Right.
That way the kids always have a fond memory of the game, right? So it's with Gears, we didn't want a lot of backtracking or padding in the game. We probably could have put in a bunch of slog missions that didn't have a lot of cinematic moments or story, and it would have been a couple hours longer. But we would rather just be jam-packed start to finish with water cooler moments.
Which I think deserves a lot of respect. That's the game I want to play. Just go in.
I just hate filler. I just hate it.
People want good games, and they're going to get them going forward. Right?
I agree. And when you ask about episodic content, I think one of the things is people conceive of episodic content as it has to be here's episode 1 of a thing, Half-Life 2. Here's episode 2 of Half-Life 2. maybe if you start thinking about things like Xbox Live Arcade and the small games there as like little episodes of fun stuff, right? That's a great business. People download those games, they can play them for 2 hours.
On a Saturday, go through it in 2 hours, be done with it, but you paid $5 for it.
Exactly. And I think that's a business that you're going to start seeing take off even more, especially as, the iPhone starts being in more hands. That thing's an incredible platform. There's just going to be a lot more small games people are playing on across all media.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to talk about one medium you guys know well, the console business. What are we going to see for PlayStation 4 and Xbox 720? Find out when the bonus round comes back. Next time in the bonus round, we ask our panel to give us their predictions for the next generation of consoles. What will the PS4 and Xbox 720 look like?
More built-in, wacky, fun input systems and less buttons.
And what does the future hold for Nintendo?
If you can somehow combine the DS with the Wii Remote, you can do some pretty impressive stuff there.
Those answers next week when the bonus round from Las Vegas concludes.
BonusRound.